Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Little Shop of Nerds. I am Julia.
I'm Mike.
And before we start on today's topic, we have a little announcement. If y'all can help us get to 100 subscribers, we will finally show our faces and we will cosplay as a couple of different characters. Mike here will cosplay as Tsunade from Naruto. And I will be cosplaying as Gordon from Black Clover.
Great.
So if you help us get up to 100 subscribers, y'all can see that.
Yay, my torture is everyone's amusement.
So let's go ahead and start on today's topic. Last week's hint was Never Let Go.
Which means we're talking about the 1997 James Cameron movie, The Titanic. And I have to say, you guys are monsters. A 3-hour movie that's 3 hours and 14 minutes long. That's longer than Endgame.
Yeah, but it's not as long as Gone with the Wind.
Not as long as Godfather Part 2.
So, those are, movies we will talk about later on, as we go on with our series. So, I have not seen Titanic in a bit. I'm going to be going completely off memory. Mike did just watch it recently. So, more like stuff that Mike will be able to bring up was going to be fresher in his mind than it will be in mine. But I do remember quite a bit from the movie because it was one of my favorite movies growing up because, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
He was every little girl's fantasy, basically.
And now he's a creep that dates 20-year-olds.
Yeah, that is kind of creepy. I agree there. That is kind of creepy.
Well, hey, at least there's one thing I liked during the whole film.
What was that?
Kate Winslet.
Oh, yeah, her topless scene.
Hey, it was art performance.
That is true. So, we're not even going to bother just, talking about the plot of the movie because y'all have probably already seen it. I mean,
if you grew up in the 90s, you might have. Now, for all these newer, younger people, before me and Jules, we grew up in the 90s. I was born in 92?
I was born in 86.
So, I was growing a little bit in the 90s, so I know what I'm talking about. I've seen Ren and Stimpy and all the other cool shit we saw as kids. Alright, one thing you need to know about Titanic, it is 3 hours long. And before DVDs, before streaming, we had a thing called VHS tapes. And I bet you kids like, what's a VHS tape? And I say, go ask your parents, they'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, the movie was actually split onto 2 of these VHS tapes. I still have my copy somewhere. Just because, that was, I liked the movie so much. I think my mom originally bought it for the family, and then I kind of just confiscated it, because, again, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yep. I loved him growing up.
Like I said, I like Kate Winslet. She's a good actress.
Yeah. So, so we're not going to talk about the plot, we're just going to talk about, some key aspects, I guess. And one of the things I want to bring up is at the beginning, after, Jack Dawson and his friend won those tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And they get on the boat, and they go up and they're introducing themselves to their little roommates. And they're like, where's Savin? And I just realized that Savin which was the guy that they won the tickets from, they were probably supposed to travel with their friends. And they had no idea that their friends lost their tickets in a gambling game.
Hey, that's that teaches the rules of gambling.
No, I wonder if they could have sent like telegrams, because I think they were able to send telegrams from the Titanic.
I think so too.
So I wonder if like Savannah was able to send a telegram to the Titanic and be like, "Hey, yeah, so they lost their tickets, so you're gonna have some random people in the room with you guys."
Yeah, either way, something happened.
Yeah.
But right now, I think those two guys, when they saw it sank, they're like, "Thank God we lost."
Yeah. Yeah. There's.
I bet you they're like, "Rest in peace, friends," but thank God.
Yeah, there's probably like a lot of people. Like there was a lot of people who were like, because I've read about the actual sinking of the Titanic, and there were people that have been transferred from other ships to have this ship to go to the war, to go to the America, and it's just like, okay, well that's freaking crazy, because it's like they could have survived if they weren't transferred. But then you have the rich people who wanted to be the first people to ride, it was the maiden voyage. So they all wanted to, ride the brand new steamboat, or not a steamboat. Yeah, steamboat. Ocean liner. Wanted to ride the brand new ocean liner across the ocean because it's new, and because of that,
yeah,
a lot of people had died. I think it was over 2,000 people.
Yeah, and it's always funny how in Old Rose mentioned in the movie how like only a few boats came back and the rest didn't know what happened. Some had to wait. Some had to. They were just lost. So we don't know what happened to those other boats. We hoping maybe they got picked up by another ocean liner.
Well, from what I understand is that, all the boats, I think what she meant by a few boats going back is going to pick up, looking for survivors.
Right.
Because they didn't want to go back and look for survivors because they were afraid that their boats would be swamped.
Oh, yeah.
By people who were trying to survive. And finally, they do go back, and y'all know the infamous scene at the end of the movie where they were on this it looks like some people were saying a door, but it was actually molding. But Jack or Rose was laying on it, and Jack was kind of just frozen, dead, clinging to it. Which, by the way, it has been proven that there would have been no room for him on that piece of molding.
Okay, I still think there is. Put this in the comments and put it to a vote. Whoever thinks Jack could have fit, put yes.
Okay, well, first off, that's irrelevant because James Cameron did come out and say that it was a piece of molding and that Jack wouldn't have been able to fit on it.
Even the Mythbusters try to prove the properability of it.
Okay, yeah, but they were probably trying to use a door.
It doesn't.
But they were using a piece of molding, which isn't going to be able to support two people.
Okay. Well, right now, I just say, put in the comments what you guys think.
And I'm just going off what James Cameron said, okay?
Yeah, I'm going by what Mythbusters said.
He is the director. He knows what he's doing. So, you know what? Fuck the Mythbusters.
I'm just saying, but right now, I do have to say, remember when Old Rose throws the gem over the freaking ship, the heart of the ocean? Yeah. In my opinion, I understand it was a bold move because it was trying to symbolize life is important over wealth, which I agree. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. The whole team who's been searching for the heart of the ocean, especially millions of dollars going towards this discovery, why couldn't she just give it to them?
Well, I mean, it does bring up a lot of bad memories, but why she held on to it for 84 years? I don't understand why she had kept it for so long. Because she could have sold it to a museum and gotten a lot of money for it.
Well, if she didn't want the money, she could just, even if it wasn't about the money, she just could have just gave it.
She could have, yeah, but, I mean, we don't know why she did what she did because they didn't really give us any um, any context on why she threw it off the side.
And,
Like, for a long time, though, I thought she accidentally dropped it. But then, as I got older, I'm just kind of like, you hear the little, oh, and it just kind of like slips, and she just watches it, and then she just kind of like looks up and smiles.
but also, here's also another thing. There is an alternate scene to that scene, which Bill, like when she gets onto the
boat.
on the railings.
On the railing,
It was supposed to make a loud noise. Everyone would hear it. No, Bill Paxton's character, the crew, her granddaughter, they run towards her. And Bill Bax, he wanted to touch it and hold it. And she kept saying why she didn't want to get rid of it. But he said, but also I'm not that crazy of a woman who jumps back on the Titanic either. So he said, just let me touch it. And he could have just grabbed it, but he's like, but he didn't. He just let her take it out of the hand and throw it.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew was kind of like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Paxton's character laughed, not in like a crazy laugh, just like he was just relieved he can actually touch it and hold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so another thing I want to talk about is the infamous art scene.
Boobies.
Where Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Jack Dawson, draws Rose naked. Because he was looking at artwork that she had in their room. Because she took him back to their room, their stateroom. And he was looking at artwork, and she was like, hey, Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. And he's just like, what? And he's like, okay. So she, undressed, put on a robe, comes out, and he's sitting there, and he's like, just get on the bed, the couch.
Yeah. Hey.
That's after she took off her robe, and then she laid down, and then he was telling her, like, what position to lay in and stuff, and she kept, like, trying to, like, make him laugh and stuff like that, and he's like, hey, I need you to stop.
Well, in my opinion, why he was all flustered, because he's fallen in love with her by this point. See, the difference between that and the other girls, it was professional, but to him, it was like, damn, she's hot, and I love her, let's do this.
Yeah, so, now, the hands that you will see in the scene actually aren't Leonardo DiCaprio's, they're actually James Cameron's hands. Because Leonardo DiCaprio cannot draw.
Oh, yeah.
But James Cameron can.
Yep.
So the hands that you see are actually his. I did not know that until years after the release of Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's something I did not know, but I know now.
Then also I kind of wonder how much eyeliner that Billy Zane had to wear.
Yeah. Yeah, so Billy Zane's character is Cal, which was Rose's fiance. He was a very controlling man, but I mean, it's the early 1900s, 1912, right?
And he's a rich dickhead.
He's a rich guy. I mean, women didn't really have a whole lot of say back in the early 1900s.
No, but that's why I like Catherine Bates' character on there, because they say she was from a newfound money, which I assume is she was poor in the beginning and now she's rich.
Yeah. Like, basically, I think, like, when they say, like, old money, they're talking about, like, families that had inherited their wealth over generations, and they've been wealthy, all that time. Kathy Bates, I feel like her character probably, I mean, I would look it up right now, but it's kind of a little, I don't want to take up the time doing that.
Yeah, and right now we just want to get through this.
But it was probably, her husband might have struck oil or something like that, and then they were able to, get wealth that way. So they were people who came into money, but didn't have it from the very beginning. That's new money.
Yeah, and also, like I said, if you look, when you do see Billy Zane, look at his eyes, because it looks like he's wearing eyeliner.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Which is not bad, by the way, whoever wears it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought that Billy Zane was pretty hot.
Well, of course, yeah.
I mean, even though he's supposed to be the villain, I mean, I use villain loosely here because he's not really the true villain is the iceberg. That's the true villain. He's more of kind of like not an anti-hero, but like
he's just a rich douchebag, doesn't care about it.
Yeah, he's and I guess an anti-hero. I guess we could go that route. If you guys have any other suggestions on what we could call Cal, put it down in the put it down in the comments.
But with him, we get that famous line, "I always win, Jack."
Oh yeah.
Because he told Rose to get in the boat, and he had some spot to reserve on a boat, but Jack wasn't going to. Like he said, no, Jack will get on this boat, and he's like, you have one reserve, and you're not going to put me on there, aren't you? It's like, I always win, Jack.
Yeah. So then when Cal realized that he wasn't going to be able to get on a boat, he found this little girl who was crying, and she was by herself. And he picked her up to gain entrance to a boat. And it just makes me wonder, like, were her parents coming back? And if her parents came back and didn't find their daughter there, then, what were they going to do? Because now their daughter is missing. So there was that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is Murdoch, the guy that shot Fabrizio.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Not Fabrizio. It was the new guy that they became friends with on the Titanic.
He was Irish. Was it O'Doyle?
I don't remember his name. But Murdoch's family actually came out and condemned James Cameron for the way that they portrayed Murdoch, because he actually never did that, and he was never actually like that. And I do believe that James Cameron came out and apologized for his portrayal of Murdoch to the family. It was I think his great nephew that came out and condemned James Cameron for it.
Well, either way, and it's true, he shouldn't have done that shit. And also another thing, it's a movie that's based on a true story. Hardly, when people make those movies, hardly anything's going to be 100% true.
Yeah. But I do think it was kind of wrong for them to assassinate his character the way that they did.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
And also, don't forget one scene. Remember where after Jack and Rose stopped, after they did their little drawing session, they ran through the fucking ship, dodging the Cal's bodyguard.
Yeah, and then they actually went into, like, the boiler room, which I didn't think people were allowed, or down in that area, the engine room.
Not unless you're part of the crew.
I would be afraid, like, because Rose was wearing a pretty flowing dress.
I'm surprised that it didn't get dirty either.
Well, not that. I'm surprised that it didn't get caught in anything.
That too, because there was a lot of moving parts.
There was a lot of moving parts, and I'm surprised, like, her dress didn't catch on fire, it didn't get caught in anything, that type of thing.
And then we get that scene where Jack and Rose was doing it, and that's when you see the first steam windows. Steam in the windows.
Yeah. So,
But then again, I kind of have, like, old Rose says, he's like, one of the crew's like, you're wondering if we did it? It's like, let's just say Jack was just professional. I'm like, right.
Well, that was during the drawing scene, though, right?
Yeah, you get my point.
So it wasn't until later that they had sex in a car.
Then
somebody's car. We don't know whose car it was, but they did it in a car.
And then someone's gonna have to watch their shit.
I mean, the car is now at the bottom of the ocean, so it doesn't much matter.
Yeah, well, if it didn't,
and the owner might have died too. So
yeah, you never know. Like I said, either way, if it didn't sunk, someone would be like, ah, shit, who fucked in my car?
Yeah. So, okay, so another thing I want to talk about is the old couple that died while laying in their bed.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually based off of a real couple. And I do believe, I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but the guy was actually co-owner of or co-founder of Macy's department store. He was actually him and his wife were traveling, of course, and they were coming back, and so that guy, so that couple was based off of a real life couple who did die on the Titanic, which was the co-founder of Macy's.
Yep. Yeah, and I heard that I don't know if this is true or not, but you remember where the band is playing on the when the ship is singing and they're starting to play? I think some say that did happen, some say it didn't.
A lot of people are saying there's a lot of accounts that it did happen. And then, get this, to add insult to injury, I do believe it was for the band. I think it was, I can't remember which company it was, but they sent a bill to the father of one of the band players for reimbursement for the outfit that was lost at sea.
Yeah, well, hey, still. Well, besides...
I think it was the violin player.
Yeah, and then pretty much the whole, like, half of the movie takes up mostly just Jack and Rose getting together, which I understand, which is the main point. But you can also tell it was laying on the Romeo and Juliet factor, falling in love at first. I wouldn't say first sight, just, because she...
Yeah, because when they met, she was going to jump off the side of the boat because she couldn't
stand her.
She couldn't stand how constricting her life was.
Because she's part of a wealthy family, and during that time, when you're wealthy, you have to act a certain way.
Which I kind of noticed something now that I'm thinking about it. When we first meet her, she's wearing all these constricting clothing, and it's just tight clothing and stuff like that. But then after she had her drawing session with Jack, her dress became more flowy. Like she was more free than she had been in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically what she needed, because I don't really think she wanted to marry Cal. I think she was doing it because that's what her mother wanted. Because they were really poor. And her mother was like, what, do you want me to go back to being a seamstress again? Hardly making any money. Like, she basically guilt-tripped Rose into staying with Cal when she didn't really want to.
Well, during that time, that's pretty much what people did during that time. Try to marry their children off to wealth so they don't have to suffer like they did, or they just sick and tired of doing that shit.
Yeah.
Because I know I am.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking about that now that we were talking about how constricting her life was, how confining her life was, because that's not something that she wanted for herself. I think she just wanted to be free. So then at the end of the movie, when she's laying in her bed on the ship, you can see, like, her photos that she has,
And she pretty much followed the example that Jack did. He pretty much...
Yeah, everything that she said that she wanted to do with Jack, she did on her own, kind of in memory of Jack.
And she took Jack's last name so no one can find her, especially... In my opinion, this is my theory. This is like I said, I could be wrong on this. Where Rose and Cal are on the ship that
rescued them.
That rescued them. You see Rose, she turns, she sees Cal, and Cal wants to know if she's still there. And I think Cal knew she was there, but he was trying to see maybe one last attempt that she can get her back. He knows she was there, but he knows, fuck it.
Like, he knows, I think he might have been hoping that she was there. Because when they asked for her name, she gave the guy the name Rose Dawson. So, I think that Cal was hoping, there might have been a part of him that knew that she was there. He just didn't know where she was because he couldn't find her.
Oh, yeah.
But then after he couldn't find her, he was just kind of like,
fuck it, I give up.
okay, whatever. She did say that later on, a few years later, when, during the Great Depression, when the stock markets crashed, he committed suicide because he lost all of his money.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. So I was told.
Yeah.
But, like I said, then, the ending with, she died, Rose dies, goes to, I think she dies, we don't.
That's what I'm going to assume happened there, was that she died on the ship.
I assume so, too. It could be a dream, but like I said, put in the comments what you think. Right now, I think it's up for interpretation.
I mean, I think she died because that was Titanic heaven, because everybody that died was on that ship.
Yeah, pretty much true.
And they
all in first class.
Yeah, they were all, like, dressed nicely and everything, and, like, because it showed, like, the little girl that
was in the third class storage.
Yeah. It showed her and her dad. It showed, Fabrizio. It showed their little Irish friend. It showed, like, it showed John Jacob Astor, who had died on the ship, too.
Yep, and pretty much everything, yeah. And after that, and also one thing that really annoyed me about the whole film, Celine Dion's song.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in my opinion, I don't think Celine Dion is she's a good singer. She's a good singer. But everyone treats her like she's all that. She's not. It's like people who treat Taylor Swift like she's all that.
Hey.
Hear me out.
I like Taylor Swift's music.
Okay, she's a good singer, like I said. Taylor Swift is a good singer, but she's also a horrible person.
She's got more money than you.
She's got more money than you, too.
I know that. And actually, she's not really that bad of a person. Just because you think she is, doesn't mean she is.
What?
Because she does care about her fans.
Yeah, fans, but not the guy she dates.
That's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Trust me. Do you half of them, they did do something wrong to her. The other half, I don't think they did. I'm just saying.
Keep that up and you're going to be the next one she writes a song about.
Oh, good. My life ain't worse as it is. But
it would make it even worse.
I'm an asshole and I'm depressed, so it doesn't matter.
You see what I deal with, folks?
Okay, but like I said, that song, The Heart Will Go On, it's not a bad song, but
it is definitely overplayed.
It's overplayed. It's like playing, what, 4 or 5 times throughout through the whole fucking film.
Well, I mean, it is the theme of the movie.
Yeah, but could they just, like, choose another song, though? Like, certain scenes they played it, certain scenes they played it, certain scenes... I'm like, we get it. The heart will go on.
So there's a thing on Facebook called Selena Scene. So they take that song, part of that song, and they'll put it over, like, certain parts from, like, different movies.
Oh.
So, the one that, I had actually shared it on Facebook, and it's the part where Dumbledore and all of them are up on top of the astronomy tower before Snape kills Dumbledore, and they play that song over that scene, and it fits so well.
Right.
I'll have to show it to you later.
But yeah. But if you, like I said, if you guys want to listen to the song, go right ahead. The song's called The Heart Will Go On. But also, I would recommend listening to this one guy who did like a cover for it. His name is Corvix. Corvix.
Corvyx.
Yeah, I just listened to it. He sings it pretty good. And here's the thing, when you do listen to him, his voice is high. Kind of like almost like, you know how like when Michael Jackson sings high, you think it's a woman, but you're like, oh, that's a dude. Mm-hmm. Ah, he's an alto. Nice.
I mean, I feel that way with Kana Boone. Kana Boone sings the ending song of Silhouette for Naruto, and I thought for a moment that they were female, but they're actually male. But
right. Well,
it happens.
All right, and in my opinion, at the end of all through all the cheesiness, the tragedy, and everything, I give the movie a how can I say this not sound like an ass? Because I already make myself as an ass for Taylor Swift fans. No offense, and Taylor, no offense, just forgive me. But also, if you want to write a song for me, send me some royalties, and I'll be all right with it.
Okay, Mike.
All right, but like all we know, I have to say, I give the movie an average score, a 6 out of 10.
I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Because, I mean, just Leonardo DiCaprio was hot back in the day, and Billy Zane was kind of hot too, and
I give it 5 stars. All right.
5 out of 5. You give it a 6 out of 10, but then you give it a 5 out of 5 stars, Mike. That's more like a 3 point.
You gave it an 8 out of 10 because of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Because Leonardo DiCaprio's hot. Okay.
So was Kate Winslet.
Okay.
So
she was hot. There you go. You happy now?
Okay, I'll give it a 6.5. Better. But okay. Besides that, I think the movie was good. I just think sometimes it can be really annoying, but I'm a guy who likes action shit, so
yeah. I mean, I advise you guys that you will probably have to pause it a few times so you can use bathroom breaks, get snacks and stuff like that, because it is a very long movie. But it is. I mean, there are some things that are wrong with it. I'm not gonna, point them out.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, it was. I mean,
it's decent.
It's a decent movie. It's something I grew up with. So.
I did too, and most of the time because my sister liked watching it, and she was also a Leo guy.
Like every other girl growing up in the 90s.
Well, one, she was my older sister, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But still, yes, every girl in the 90s was we get it. Leonardo was a heartthrob, so was Justin Timberlake.
I mean, Justin Timberlake came like a little later after that.
But still.
I mean, I liked Justin Timberlake too, and Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys.
All right, we're not going to get into the we're not going to get into the 90s heartthrobs right now. So
not yet.
Well, if we are, she's going to talk about.
Oh, I will definitely talk about it.
Yeah. So, only thing I would have to say is, nah, I got nothing.
Got nothing?
Okay, all right, our next episode hint's going to be...
I even wear my glasses at nighttime.
All right, please like and subscribe us, and like I was saying, Taylor Swift, no offense, but if you do write a song about this, send me some royalties, just to be fair.
Okay, guys, see you later, bye.
And bye.